primary document analysis for the 13th time this year. You do it the same way. You try to do it with depth. You really got to think about it. Think about different perspectives. Think about the meaning. Think about the American Revolution, and people wanted to fight, some people didn't want to fight, and you had women that participated, foreigners who participated, and the enslaved African Americans who participated. Why are you going to risk your life for an idea, pursuit of happiness? You leave your family, you might never come back, and many people did not come back. Many people died. Why would you risk your life? Why would you do this? So we need to figure out the people who risked their lives, what role did they play? Was it to a lesser extent? Like, they only played a small role. It was really the soldiers who did it all. Or was it to a significant extent? Oh, no, women, foreigners, and African Americans, yeah, they were really important. Or was it to a great extent? Were women, foreigners, and African Americans crucial to the outcome of the war? And without them, we wouldn't have freedom today. Which one? We need to see their level of involvement. Okay? So we're going to compare and contrast their roles and determine their level of involvement. Let's take a look at the background. Men and women from all walks of life were caught up in the American Revolution. Women served in a variety of ways, including a few who fought on the battlefield. African Americans, free and enslaved alike, both, served and became some of the war's earliest heroes. Those are more clues. Volunteers from Europe, the foreigners, they played important roles in the Continental Army as well. That was George Washington's army, the Continental Army that fought the British. So this gives us some insight. All right. Now, here's our prompt. We're going to compare and contrast the roles played in the American Revolution by women, African American, and foreigners. Right? Were they similar? Were they different? And then, to what degree were they important to the outcome of the war? This is George Washington crossing the Delaware, Christmas Eve, very famous photo. Okay? Let's take a look at document 1. So this is the way that you do it. Document 1, it says highlight one of them below. Was this about women? Is this about enslaved? Or is this about foreigners? You read it and then decide. I already highlighted, but let's see how I got the clue. First, let's source it. This is a letter from a letter to her husband. Who wrote the letter? Oh, look over here. A woman named Abigail Adams. She wrote a letter to her husband, John Adams, during the Continental Congress in 1776. Ooh, look, 1776, Declaration of Independence. This man, John Adams, he was part of the Declaration of Independence, right? He helped create it. So he's an important political dude in the government. He's making big-time decisions for this new country called America. And his wife writes him a letter and says this: I long to hear that you have declared independency. Oh, she's for the revolution. In the new code of laws, the new government documents they're writing for America. In the new code of laws, which I suppose it will be necessary for you to make, I desire you would remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. Do not put such unlimited power in the hands of the husbands. What is she saying here? What does Abigail Adams want? You guessed it, freedom. She wants freedom. She wants more freedom and more equal rights for herself and for all the ladies living at that time and for all women in the future of this new country. I want you to remember the ladies. Be more generous and favorable to them than your father and your grandfather and your great-grandfather, too strict with the women. Don't put such unlimited power in the hands of the husbands. In other words, during that time, a woman only had one choice. Men had unlimited choices. The one choice a woman had was get married or don't. And if you don't get married, you're shunned by society. People in your neighborhood, in your community will think there's something wrong with you and look at you as less of a person because you didn't get married. So that was the choice of women. Get married or don't. And if they get married, what is their only other choice? Raise the kids. Stay home and raise the kids. And that was it. So now Abigail Adams is saying, we want more in this new country called the United States of America. You have to reason that in your head and think about that. So now let's fill out the analysis. It's not a grid, but you're doing the same analysis. What is it? Look at the bottom. What is it? What? From a letter. It's a letter. Oh, okay. Type a letter. Who said it? Abigail Adams. Well, now who's Abigail Adams? The wife of John Adams. He's one of the political leaders of the revolution. We can type that. Who said it? Make sure you're following me. Okay, why did this woman write this letter to her husband? What's the purpose? Why'd she do it? It seems fairly obvious, right? Abigail Adams wanted more freedom for women to pursue happiness. She's telling her husband, we're more than just wives and caretakers for your children. We want more freedom to prove it. Look upon us favorably when you create these new laws for our new country. Give women more rights, right? So now that you've heard all that, once you're done typing, you take a look at what the message is here. All right, now you take a look at the message. Abigail Adams wanted more rights for women. Let's say this. Written in law. And the freedom to pursue their own individual version of happiness. Okay, that's our message. Now, what is the quote that reflects the message? So it's like, where do you get that, Mr. D? Where's the truth? Show us, prove that that's how she felt. So then you would have to type the quote, I desire you would remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. Do not put such unlimited power in the hands of husbands. Okay? Sorry. Okay. So once you type that, now look at the bottom. You think about it. What role did they play in the revolution? So we're talking about women here. What role did women play? Do you think that Abigail Adams played a small role, a significant role, or a crucial role? So now when you go back and look at this, I long to hear that you have declared independency. Okay, so she's telling her husband, in the new code of laws, we're going to create the Constitution of the United States. This woman has influence over one of the men creating the laws inside the Constitution for the United States of America. Would you say that's a small influence? Would you say that's significant? Or would you say that's crucial for the freedom of women in the future? I would interpret that as crucial. Okay, so you would type this. What role did they play in the revolution? Small, I mean, you could put that in there. Or you could just type they played a crucial role. Women played a crucial role in the revolution. There you go. This is what we're looking for. So as you're typing that, this is how a ninth grader would look at document 1 and use their analysis to explain the depth and complexity of a primary source. These are historical thinking skills you use for the rest of your life to be great at your job. It's why a boss is a boss in any industry in America, because they can do something like this. Well, document one is a letter written by Abigail Adams, and she was actually the wife of John Adams, who was one of the political leaders of the American Revolution. Abigail Adams wrote that letter because she wanted to convince her husband to add new laws in the Constitution of the United States, which gave women more freedom to pursue happiness. So she absolutely wanted more rights for women written in law, which gives women the freedom to pursue their own individual version of happiness. How can I prove that's true? Because Abigail Adams lived in 1776. Her husband was one of the political leaders of the revolution, and her actual words in that time, in that place, quote, "I desire you would remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. Do not put such unlimited power in the hands of husbands." Okay? So this proves historically with primary evidence of someone who was there that women played a crucial role in the outcome of the American Revolution, because they had influence over men who were creating the laws inside the Constitution of the United States that would guide women's rights from that point all the way up into present day. That is the level 4 analysis of a ninth grader who has been using historical skills for 12 straight investigations, and now they've arrived at the 13th, and that's the level you should be looking at. Okay? Let's take a look at document 2. Tina Ann Nugent, look at the bottom. American Athens. A book. Women in the Revolution. Okay, highlight one below. Women enslaved or foreigners. You know it to be true. This is women again. Now we're going to try to corroborate. We're going to try to see if these sources match in their purpose, in their message. And that makes our first claim about women's role being crucial to the revolution. It strengthens that claim. It strengthens that truth. Let's read it. Despite their low positions in society, women did not, despite their low positions in society, women did participate, in the revolution. On the home front, they sewed uniforms and knitted stockings for soldiers. With their husbands away fighting, some women had to take over as weavers, carpenters, blacksmiths, shipbuilders, the roles of strong men. Women took over. Others transformed their homes into hospitals for the wounded, so they saved lives as well. Both man and woman fought on the battlefield. They also fought on the battlefield. Hundreds of women served as nurses, laundresses, cooks. There were some that actually engaged in battle. Deborah Sampson put on men's clothing and called herself Robert Shirtliff in order to enlist in the army. Robert Shirtliff fought courageously. His, right in quotes because it's a woman, his company defeated marauding Indians north of Ticonderoga. Okay, this was a book written by historian Tina Ann Nugent called American Athens, Women in the Revolution. Just by reading that and looking at the variety of ways that women were involved in the American Revolution, do you think that they had a lesser role, a significant role, or a crucial role in the outcome of the American Revolution? I agree. It looks crucial. They did so much. Let's perform some analysis. What is this? This is a book. Women in the Revolution. Who said it? Tina Ann Nugent. Historian. So we take her level of credibility because she's a historian. All right. What is the purpose? Why did this woman write this book? Look at the vocabulary words you can use to really level up what you're thinking in your mind, your articulation, the invaluable actions of women. Of women's participation in the outcome of the American Revolution. Can't even say this. The invaluable and diverse actions. Very diverse. They did so many things. How's that? So, what's the message here? Women participated in the American Revolution in a variety of ways. They created and provided supplies. They worked in male-dominated industries. They supported soldiers during battles. They fought during battles. You can copy and paste this comment right underneath. Okay, so what role did they play in the revolution? Was it small? Was it significant? Or was it crucial? This matches up with document 1. They corroborate, they match. Both reveal, both point closest toward the truth that women played a crucial role in the outcome of the American Revolution. Crucial role because they provided essential support to the military and the entire cause. Now we got to find the quote. Now the quote is all over the place. So we can do ... when we take pieces of quotes from a document. All right, let's take a look at a quote now. So what's the quote that supports this message? On the home front, they sewed uniforms and knitted stockings. Okay, there's one part of the quote. Let's ... Let's move on. What else did they do? They took over as weavers, carpenters, blacksmiths, shipbuilders. Let's get the rest of it, and then you can copy down. Served as nurses and say fought on the battlefield. All right. There you go. Now, as you type this, if somebody was to challenge my assertion and say, nah, women were home with the kids during the American Revolution, it's the men with guns, bravery, that's what won our freedom, I would say, I would have to oppose your claim, and I would have to refute your belief with an alternative version of history that points even closer to the truth. And that is that women played a crucial role to the outcome of the American Revolution. If it wasn't for women, we might not have won the war and our freedom. How do I know that? Because document 1 and document 2 corroborate. They match in the crucial role that women played in the outcome of the revolution. Okay? Women played invaluable, women had diverse and invaluable actions in their participation in the outcome of the American Revolution. What do I mean by that? Well, they participated in a variety of ways. They created and provided supplies. They worked in male-dominated industries. They supported soldiers during battles. They actually fought in the battles as well. So because of those reasons, they provided essential support to the military and the entire overall cause. How do I know that's true? Because this historian, Tina Nugent, has accumulated primary evidence that reveals on the home front, women sewed uniforms, they knitted stockings, they took over as weavers and carpenters, blacksmiths, even built ships. They served as nurses on the battlefield, and they even participated in the battles as soldiers. For those reasons, it's undeniable that women played a crucial role in the outcome of the American Revolution. That's a level 4 analysis by a 9th grader who's mastered the art of historical analysis. I hope this helps.